The paradox of the minority middle class that William Ruto is trying to depend on to fund the budget, the national budget, continues to attract hate across the political divide. And in this video, I want us to unpack Irungu Kangata's message to William Ruto in an article that was published on Sunday. And in that article, he confronts the president with the gospel truth that we should at least make sure that the cobbler's income is not interfered with. The direction of going for income tax, while it is the easiest to collect, but it is a disastrous route to take. Just to set us up and just show us the direction this is taking, I want you to listen to a collection of these sound bites, because you will hear a resounding dominant voice that the middle class should pay so that the poor can be supported.
Naona watu wengi wanasumbuka, sisi hatutaki nyumba bana. Mbona nani alikuambia tunahitaji nyumba? You know? Sio nyumba peke yake ndio tunatafuta kwa hii mpango. Ni kweli nyumba itapatikana, tuondoe wale wa Kenya milioni 6.5 wanaishi katika slums. Ni kweli. Lakini wacha tafadhali. Lakini ya muhimu zaidi ni kwamba kila nyumba tunayojenga tunapata ajira ya vijana wetu 5. Kila nyumba. Zile nyumba ambazo tumeweka katika mpango yetu 1 million in the next 5 years. 200,000 every year. Hizo nyumba 200,000 every year itatupatia nafasi ya ajira kati ya vijana 1,000,000 na 2,000,000. Ndio tumesema vile wengine wamefanya. Tunasema kila mfanyikazi atoe 3%. Na sio 3% ya mshahara yako yote. Ile inaitwa basic pay. Si ushuru, ni pesa yako. Lakini unatupatia kwa muda tufanyie mpango ya wale watoto wetu wanaorandaranda barabarani, wengine wao ni watoto wetu wa kuwazaa. Our own children. Kuwapangia ajira. Sawa? Na hiyo that's why ni watu waelewe. It is a win-win project.
What has been fashioned like a charity program is turning to be a big disaster for the president. And initial plan of Kenya Kwanza was to ensure that we expand the tax base so that the people that are taxed are many. And that is why one of the flagship projects of Kenya Kwanza was the Hustler Fund. The Hustler Fund was fashioned as a solution of making sure that Kenyans can be more entrepreneurial, so that the more they are entrepreneurial, government will find those who it can tax. But it's another project that went waywire. We are yet to find out. I want us to look at this article that was written by Murang'a Governor Irungu Kangata. And the title here is Adopt Appropriate Policies to End Discrimination. Adopt appropriate policies. And he has divided, and I just want us to break it down to you in more simpler terms so that we can actually understand. He's saying, giving an example of a cobbler. A cobbler is living a very simple life. Anaenda, wakes up in the morning at 5 a.m., goes by the roadside, does his work, collects his 100 and 200, just comes back home, budgets and go home. Now, state bodies receive a lot of money, and he's saying this. State bodies that become inefficient should not receive government money. It is far much better to redirect those resources to micro enterprises, and those culpable of ruining those institutions are punished. We are pampering the people, the corporates, while the micro businesses cannot thrive because of their starved of finances. Now this is where the gist is, and I want us to look at this. He's saying tax policies should also be recast in favor of the poor, who are the majority. Tax on personal income should be de-emphasized as opposed to tax on consumption. It's going to say, continuing to say, consumption tax is based on how people consume rather than how much they add into the economy. Consumption tax promotes savings and investment. Income tax rewards spenders and penalizes savers. So this is just I want us to get first that part, that the tax favors the tax on personal income should be de-emphasized. Which are these tax on personal income? This is the housing levy. It's, people go to the direct taxation because it is the easiest to collect. Very easy. It is the easiest to administer just by press of a button. So even as we speak, let's try to unpack. 1.5% housing levy, 2.75% for SHIF. Initially it was just 500 shillings. Then NHIF, NSSF has also, I can't remember the rate, but NSSF is also another percentage. Then you have pay as you earn. On top of this, you might also have deductions maybe for associations, for example, for teachers, politicians, people in the political area, political parties, and other statutory deductions. The resultant effect is that you will remain with very little amount. So here, there is something I want to tie up with what I just played in that soundbite. When President is saying, we will not subsidize consumption, will subsidize production.
We have agreed as a government that we are not going to be subsidizing consumption. That is why we are going slow on matters to do with subsidizing consumption. We are going to work and support producers. The unga subsidy that was done, I was being briefed by the Ministry of Agriculture. The unga subsidy, for 1 month, the taxpayer was asked to give 7 billion.
So even if you subsidize production, is it what is happening now? Because if you look at the new tax measures, especially this one on milk and bread, it is actually a tax on consumption. Now, it continues to say, therefore, let the cobbler keep his income as much as possible. Okay? But catch him when he is spending. Tax alcohol more to dissuade him from drinking and encourage him to save, for example. That's great. And this part is very interesting for me. People's main concern are mainly healthcare and education for their children. Let education costs be borne by the entire society as opposed to individual poor people. It serves both the rich and the poor interest to have an educated populace. Healthcare costs for poor people should also be defrayed by the state. Otherwise, we shall create a medical apartheid where only the wealthy people can access quality healthcare. Kenya remains a highly unequal society. That does not bode well for its stability. A concerted effort to uplift those at the bottom of the pyramid should be employed. Do you believe that there are any signs of those people at the lower part of the pyramid are actually being taken care of? Because the truth of the matter here is there is a very, there is a constructed position, and even when government is coming up with policies, that let those who have to contribute so that those who don't have, we can help them. Are we bridging the gap, or we're still bringing inequality? We cannot bridge the gap if we still, there is little being done to uplift whoever is down. In fact, you are being told, let the teacher and the nurse contribute so that that cobbler can be helped.
Niendelee na hizo sheria ama niwache? Na watu wa Kwanza wacha niwaeleze. Hiyo mambo yote ambayo nimesema serikali inaenda kuwafanyia, tunaanza tarehe 1 mwezi wa 3. Tarehe 1 mwezi wa 3. Na la muhimu kabisa ni mimi kutafuta pesa ya kufanya hiyo mambo yote. Katika hii sheria mpya tumesema kila mtu atalipa 2.75%. Lakini kuna watu, naibu wa rais wa kizungu mingi, wanadanganya wa Kenya, wanasema sisi tumeongeza, watakuwa wanalipa pesa mingi sana. Naibu wa rais, katika hiyo mfumo ya 2.75%, 54% of Kenyans watakuwa wanalipa bei ya chini. Wale watu ambao watakuwa wanalipa bei nyingi ni watu kama wewe naibu rais, wabunge, na hawa watu ambao mmekaa kwa red carpet. Mnataka watoe mingi ndio niwashughulikie? Mnataka watoe mingi niwashughulikie? Asante sana naibu wa rais, mimi sina mambo mengi, nimefanya public participation. Watu wa Kwanza wamesema mama na afya aendelee. Si namna hiyo?
Are we really helping? We continue to create an equal society. Irungu Kangata's most single urgent message is that direct taxation trajectory that is targeting the middle class only creates an equal society, even as we try to posture that those who have are helping those who don't have. Should government policies be fashioned like charity programs, like Bold Charity Network? For Bold Charity Network, we go there. For charity, we go and help those who cheat. Bridging the gap. But it's saying that we continue to create an equal society. The messaging is more of yule mwenye ambako chini asaidiwe. Ewe toa 2.7%, mwalimu atoa 2.7%, yule mfanyikazi wa serikali atoa 1.5%, so that tujenge manyumba, tujengee maskini nyumba, tupatie huyu. Are we helping that person down there? And the second message from Irungu Kangata here is that housing thing might not even be a priority. The priority, and I want to believe, the priority for this country, truth, healthcare and education. Do you know nurses are on strike? The doctors are on strike. Just 1 hour before I started shooting this video, I received a call from one of our viewers who was telling me about, how they had to remove the wife from Kenyatta to a private facility, and from another private facility to another, simply because, again, that private facility is run by doctors who work in the public sector, and those doctors are under instructions not to report to any facility. The president is on top of car in Rift Valley. He's not made any single comment about doctor strike. Look at that. And he will speak about other things, but he cannot make a comment or a commitment, even selling hope to the country that they are going to address healthcare. Education and healthcare are the single most important issues to the country. Now, why the income tax appetite is disastrous, and that is why that message from Irungu Kangata is very powerful, is what I want to unpack. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, And thank you very much for supporting our channel. Thank you very much for being part of this great channel. As apart from political analysis, we also run monthly charity programs. And I also thank you for those who respond. You know, I will not just say when we are fundraising, they say, I thank you. No, you normally come in a way, and I know that we will do next in April. I'm still picking up those proposals. I will narrow down to one, and we'll start on 1st of April. So we do it the first week of that April, so that tumalize mapema. We do it the first week, then we move to the next. And I'm so much grateful for even those input and those who are showing proposals, sending proposals on what next we can do. I think the response is very overwhelming. The income tax trajectory is disastrous because it limits savings that can be an investment catalyst. Let's look for an example. If I get 100,000 and you know, I listened to, I think Sifuna was saying, there is a statistic, there is a data set showing that only 3% of Kenyans earn more than 100,000. And only 10% earn more than, 5% earn more than 50,000. Do you want to call these people middle class? So let's just evaluate and say, let's say 20% of this country are the middle class. Can the 20%, you know, middle class is people earning below, above 50. So you make above 50 until wale watu wana millions. And some few tycoons on top. Do you believe that 20% of those earning above 50,000 can fund a budget for the 50 million of this country? Is it reality? And in any case, who said that government has the monopoly of investment? A very good example is about houses. Housing. It is a very ambitious plan that would create some jobs, and went very specific, some temporary transition jobs, temporary jobs to young people, because building ikisha kuna kazi tena, we will just employ one person there to be caretaker. It's not even a must. So the more we raid the fellows' payslips, they remain with little to save. Now, when the saving is low, why do people save? People save to invest. And people save so that they can even get loans. We create a pool of defaulters who cannot get loans to invest. You invest less. For how long will you invest even to put up your home at home? Because even now, if you go and build a structure, you build your home at Ushago, you also create jobs for some young people there. So that's one disaster of this trajectory of appetite for personal tax. There is a very, and I want to be, and this is a bit, this is a bit delicate. Do you know that with this trajectory of raiding the personal income, we are creating a very legitimate, and we are validating industrial unrests as people continue to lobby for labor rights. You know, and this is why it's working. Let's just look, for example, the doctors are on strike as we speak. They're demanding that some medical interns who had worked should be absorbed, amongst others. There is also another health scheme that was for the doctors that was scrapped. On such same flimsy grounds of semi-flimsy grounds of misappropriation. Now, when you deduct from the public, and the public demands services from the government, there is a lot of entitlement. Today, it is doctors. They're asking government, what aren't we doing? You are deducting our money for housing levy. The 2.5% we are deducting. Our obligation, the obligation of the public servant, of that employee to the government, they are committing. And that means that our salaries, our disposable income is going down. What is their call? The call is, as you continue to deduct, you must increase. You must advance our salaries. And that causes industrial unrest. That is what you are seeing today. It is with the doctors. And by the way, one of the reasons why you see government is very keen on how they handle the doctors is because the teachers and the other civil servants are watching. Immediately that is done, you will see lecturers next or teachers next. Mewapatia, we also want. Even JSS is a hot issue coming. The JSS teachers were protesting the other day that need to be employed. So that is the direction. That is one of the dangers. Number 3, I am also seeing that we are creating a class war between the downtrodden and the perceived middle class. This can explode. And you know how it can explode? The same people we are the same people we are hitting, we are overburdening, the same middle class we are overburdening, will charge the downtrodden. And it's the downtrodden that will start complaining. Look, who is heckling the president? Who is heckling? Is it teachers and nurses? No. It is those hustlers. It is those hustlers. Why? Why? The public, they're going to the hospitals, they're not seeing doctors. They're frustrated. The next day they will go to schools, they're not seeing teachers. They're frustrated. What will happen? When Mr. Politician will go there, they will heckle Mr. Politician. So you see how it can explode. Because the simplest and most available tool for the shade of abandoned middle class is just the tool of work. Just drop the chalk. Yes. And that is how that class war will emerge. That hustler is the person heckling the president. Because he's gone to the hospital, Nahaoni, there was a heckling in Bomet where people are heckling because the minister in charge, the area doesn't have electricity. And lastly, income tax is by simplest definition robbery without violence. And I want to, in this channel I have many of us who are in formal employments. When nakatwa hiyo pesa. When you speak to them offline, when they call you, kuna venye watu hiyo kitu inawauma. Let's say the truth. Inawauma sana. And people see robbery. That is why that urgent call from Irungu Kangata, the State House team and these people masquerading as textbook economists should actually read that article and understand that really much of that trajectory of hitting people's pay slips is a very dangerous route. And it's not one that many people really like. Thank you.